Hi, let me talk to you today about CBD. CBD is, of course, the most well-known cannabinoid. In fact, a lot of people call our company a CBD company, which is a bit a shame because we have so many more cannabinoids in our products. But that's the common use of the word CBD. CBD originates from CBDA, the acid form, and it comes from the acid form by heating it, either by the sunlight on the field in the plant directly, or in the lab you can reproduce that. Most of the concentration is in the hemp flowers, right? It is in the hemp flowers where the highest amount of CBD is, and it's not intoxicating like THC because it doesn't bind directly or strongly with the cannabinoid receptors. In fact, it has an indirect activation of the ECS, the endocannabinoid system. And that's an interesting thing to realize. Can have direct activation by binding the receptors, or indirect. And CBD is clearly an indirect activator. It means that once components bind to the receptor, there is an enzymatic component called FAAH in the body, and it breaks down that cannabinoid, those endocannabinoids, into the cannabinoids we produce ourselves that are bound to the receptors. It breaks it down like anything else. Anything else that is in our body, eaten, coming from outside, is slowly broken down. Now, CBD prevents that breaking down enzyme from becoming active. And that's why it stays longer in the binding pocket of the cannabinoid receptor, that anandamide, that endocannabinoid. So CBD does that. That's how it works in our body, by activating the ECS through reduction of the effectiveness of the breakdown enzyme. It also is an activator of PPAR, which is a complicated word in biochemistry. But what that does is it helps to control your metabolism, to regulate your metabolism. PPHR, make sure that your metabolism is optimized. And metabolism has everything to do with energy production, use of energy in your body to make your cells work, or sometimes lack of energy using, so that you have too much energy in your body, resulting in potentially obesity or diabetes or metabolic syndrome. Very common issues in today's life. And that's another reason why I believe that the lack of cannabinoids use over the last decades has resulted in this serious degenerative problems that we're facing. CBD is also a deactivator of TRPV1. Now, TRPV1 is another enzyme that regulates the communication between nerve cells. Nerve cells communicate, giving a signal coming here, going to the next nerve cell by what we call ion channels. Ion channels is like little openings in the cells where signaling molecules travel through. And this TRPV1 opens those, make sure that it happens. CBD slows down the effectiveness of that communication. And that means that it's going to reduce pain sensation. A lot of people report that using CBD reduces pain. Well, that's because of this, because it slows down the communication between nerve cells in a natural way. Very effective. Also, that is the reason, potentially, why epilepsy is so much reduced, epileptic attacks with CBD, because also that has to do with signaling between nerve cells in your brain. So that is, the additional effect of CBD on top of the common effects of all cannabinoids. And in fact, CBD is so known for that there's even a synthetic version on the market of CBD called Epidiolex, which is prescription medication in the US. I don't think it's in Europe, but in the US it is, to reduce epileptic attacks. Coming with a lot of side effects, I can tell you that, because it is a synthetic CBD, just one molecule, which is never the good thing. Natural CBD in connection with other cannabinoids has all these benefits without the side effects. Studies have shown this. For anxiety, for example, there are many studies with CBD because it's the oldest well-known cannabinoid, so a lot of research has already been done. Use of CBD clearly reduced anxiety in a clinical study population. When public speaking. Interestingly, that's what I'm doing now, so it's good that I'm taking my CBD. Also in epilepsy, as I told you already, there's a clear reduction, much more higher than placebo when it comes to reduction of epileptic attacks. So CBD, the most well-known, the best researched, also in humans, and a very wide spectrum of effect.